adwebro obi antena fi atum till further notice. So enoma kakra ho no ma ye de ebrem so ni quick one before me company for so no mrahye bedwam so no 8 more members of parliament self quarantine. Omudin the speaker say on fa emma. So far no mrahye bedwafo edu ene se omangasa en quarantine wo moidi no amma inteno so bibia ni ebe mo so ate. Me ya emoko aba.
Mejuso.
We dey etimi nchia. Boko there. That's right. Right this morning, Boko there.
Bibia Boko.
Yo. Yeah, quick one. And you dey no call say.
Well, ekono kama. Your chance here, you better military for as papa or more a juma pa. Because the Minister for Local Government, Honorable Hajia Alima Mahama, now Osha say, or per se, yen disinfect all the markets in Accra. And we have 137 markets within the region.
Okay.
And we have 29 metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. Inti osi yen and within a couple of days, how to marshal resources. Na yebetimi aye adwuma de we needed some discipline to be able to do so.
Okay.
And that's why the military was also brought in. Inti a couple of the meetings no were the Bema Camp in organizing our resources na ibeye adwuma no. In fact, the deployment was done at the Bema camp at 3 a.m. today. Deployment is nipa no beye adwuma no omo equipment cars near the Bay Juma was done at the Bema camp today. You know, although but the discipline of the military was brought to bear in making sure that this thing was very, very successful. Until by 7 a.m., were almost all the 137 markets within the greater Accra region. And in doing so, the cheap market, because some of the markets are big, some are very small. Into those small markets now, you say 10 nipa amunko, nipa 10 no na amukita spray gun, na almost spray. You know, big markets like Agbobloshi, any Katamanto. That one we say like 25 people na omuye juma. But in addition to waiting, we have Fogger machine na onusu. War pickups na air spray runs na air spray into because and just to make sure say I didn't air cough fast and the road sweeping machine also a war the side fin be na and so I didn't air free now or the year in the streets of Accra ninya. And what is interesting is we said to have even drones, you know, fly over the market also spray. So we are spraying from left, right, from the air and from the ground to make sure say during the Ebeko every part of the markets within the greater Accra region. And by the grace of God, by 1 o'clock largely now. Most of the markets spray with the exception of few markets na big like Agbobloshi and the issues so I can say confidently say it be very successful, and the military was also providing not only security but also providing guidance because planning. As I speak to you, the military men are still on site. They are still in those markets because prior to that, every market, even including our security.
Okay.
So the military was also providing security at the market. Means nipa omo adie ewo nti opese will making sure say by tomorrow obi abeba na adie obi a ewo because onim high nkra when say nkra ene obi amba nkra nti nipa bonifo no be take advantage say okoko you bibia. I can assure you say the military people are still around. They are in the markets and they are policing the markets till tomorrow morning before they hand over.
It's before some my question, quick one. You wait make us or China the phone with me alcohol.
Yes. Tomorrow it's a day for normal business because you see you're closing the market for only 1 day. That's the information we gave out through the Honorable Minister for Local Government and Ochina we are starting market. But in doing so, let us be mindful, sir. Yare no dear, yedi free baby and the buy. Let us make sure, say we are still observing the social distancing. Yenchia, yesi yenchia. Say Ghana dear, ye pechiapa, uko ya, ubechi obia, uko baby a ubeko ubechi obia, yesi and then yenchia, yajaichia. Inti ujaichia na. Just make sure that you observe those things, sir. Unim say also na you see use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Who use sanitizer every 10-20 minutes? Who they use it because it's just make sure say you keep yourself out of this virus. Sisia ye no baby, matise ye even local. Inti ema adiano ebeye. Easy to assess because there shall say because of it shall say now some pharmacy shops now increasing price. So the local production no you know, from Kolebu, from Georg to Casapreco and they are doing a very good job for all of us. So let us make sure that we maintain some of these don't gather. And that's why before the Ghana Tourist Authority said Yembani Beach no. Because over the weekend yesterday, whilst we were planning this thing with the military, and I be more sending pictures as to some of these things. So we quickly had to, you know, engage and to make sure say
pictures
pictures are people now,
beach.
No more beach.
Chilling no.
And easy.
Wow.
Sakumono, any Labadi beach. You say
a holiday weekend there, so what did you say?
Say a holiday.
I don't release stress.
A holiday, but this is not it. You see, we are not in normal times.
Exactly.
And I think, say, people have to understand, say, we are not in normal times. Because sometimes we call baby and people bet etimia cassette say a yare way there, a yeseka for yare, and you know, because you're the free abuchina any buy. But even a yeseka. One yaska udifi abuchi e buy wo obusuan udchia na wo kwa bo means ube spread yare no inti some of these myths around yare no and say yen continue to educate people about it. Some people even feel said as they move about now or they are swimming in the sea, but if you move at ube chiobi.
Yes.
One of the senators United States of America, he went to swim. After rampor, after swimming, now shaking hands. So they are doing contact tracing. Yes. Also, I tested positive. Anything can happen wherever you are. Let us strictly adhere to the protocols. It is very, very important. We can't allow this thing to continue to happen. Sisia, South Africa, also or mayor lockdown. In many countries and many cities, they have gotten to this level because of complacency from the beginning.
Yes.
Now, emba. Where they but it is because of this attitude and this thinking that has led a lot of countries and cities to even lockdown. But when you get to a point of lockdown, it means that you have gotten to the peak of your crisis and you don't have anything to do than to shut down your entire city and your country. That is not what we want it to happen in the country. And as you move about going about your normal things now, just be mindful of the fact that COVID-19 is there and the virus is transferred to people through, you know, human touch, and let us be mindful of some of this stuff. Just to make sure, say, some of these things are, as much as we are killing the virus, you know, any bacteria as a result of disinfection, and don't just say, it cannot be the end of it. It's just the beginning, and also to create awareness about some of the things that are buying air.
Right, just so I need to know and can achieve. Mess about also with another questions, but I mean, call opinion this one. So, here I need a call around and upon me who normally be on with the mixing with a Google machine. You know, me who back when you try chlorine powerful disinfectants and no with the air there.
That's a menu and a chair. Chlorine a dread year, Juman and then chlorine based solution. And they say chlorine no. To say the wafa anke twade no ye acidic na nsuo de acid bia anim na mfinfin ho no mo no WHO ye wiase apomudin krabata kese no e the recommendation aba e kire say you use chlorine na solution ye 6.5 pH eno na ebetimi aku muawai ewo say wo ye disinfection te say de na ye wo dwom no ne ade na chlorine no enye ade a ekum nipa te say wo swimming pool mu say ya chlorine e bi wom etimi clear infections e wo swimming pool nim e wo swimi a te say wonya yare bi ne ade but we na use wo dwom no number 1 na say hu say ye be use chemical a enkum nipa because ejom enuane ne ade na wo ho enti na announcement ni nyina na ekoso in the last 2 weeks nyina ka say ye ma me mo ne omomoto ade o no mo kofi o mo kata o mo no ma no so say na ebe ya ye de chlorine no ne ade ne ba enya nsusanso bone bia enti solution ye use WHO for standard recommendation ade o ma kire yen say ye use em fan say parazone e wo fie ba won timi fa parazone say wo fa yes all the nsuo ni ade fra ansa na we use anya ho nsusaso a wo pe won timi fa parazone raw no sa the chlorine powerful no na we say ye mix nyanya rice solution na 6.5 pH no na dia ye say adwuma no
ahwese ni yete say o man for so ano nya den but ye mame mfa me dey example me ben ho e wo kantamanto it wa abro mo chance say o mo bo spray ni bi no man ko ma chi kakra kra ke be ha me na wo say eye kra ba wani na epese rua nose mask no kra mu e na man for so say do mo say ano mre but ano ehye ha ye nuane no bia wojo no
there be say ye pese ye kumuawa no enso enya se ye pese ye kumuawa ni nti ne akofa bibi ano ye din too much a ho wonsusu aso because ye ya we say ye dwom edwom so nuane ne ade wo ho even table sukuro mo ye adwuma no wo hwe pictures ye ekoso ya ba bia bi etwitwa nam ne ade nyina nti ne conscious of it say we say use ade a enya susu aso bone but enya se ye use no te say de wo de parazone ye se fa bitimienu na fa insuo cap mienu wo de cap at 9 kogumu a entimi nya adwuma ne nkumuawa no yema say wo use wo fie a entimi nya adwuma no te say de wo follow instructions na ka say for cap mienu ene ne team something like that enti we na no professionals ene ne omo ye adwuma no omo experience e was ade emu pa omo spray ni nyina omo ye very experienced sprayers omo nim say na machine ye no omo nim the way spray no kra cause spraying no nyesa wo gina fa ko no wa busa wo hwe ba bia frama no kra boko say na be ye ngu nkrofo anim wo hwe omo ahye omo PP space no ne de show omo hwene ne ade nyina ne gloves no ne ade ne nyina je say omo ye very professional and the way omo spray no omo anim the way omo swing no kra nyesa omo ye ne how enti sa no me nyina according to planning na me ye oboso no me ye hwehwe sa no me nyina so enti mixing of edro no instructions down ebi a ubu you know me can no obi atifios ye ne makoye because the you know combination no here no e different enti ebi a say we say 6.5 no te say the oka sanitizer as here ho no sanitizer say be adwuma we say yes at least 70% alcohol na say nya bibia no wafa na the farm sa ho say o we nya sanitizer there be specification wo ho a kire say sa de we netimi adwuma we e benya sanso we nti na ye ka say ye ni the way a emra no te no ye nye no ma ye ya ebekumwa no ye ka say hoho nsa brano 20 seconds insu a ye run ebu enye say wudi akogu bo mu na do nsa ahye no so mahoro eno no mwa no da so wom ba ye si mensu a etene ko wahu ni nyina ye specific na ye si sanitizer wo fro car waso bibi mu wo de sanitizer obi discussion on sem we are wo de because where ye ni so na yare ni ti sikroma e be ha ye pa
right so this one appear so na yete ni kama am so amra wo so amanfo ka say ase ya ye pepere ho dodo ena dwumadi ni fa ma ya de ba bi eti say osu any other areas bi no mo sha say be say so there about na amanfo ni bi say nti sa mo sha say ebe pima nwumre a omode kwa wie no mbetimi abo ba bia kama wie won fo tima koye adwuma 2 kwema des omo wo nkranase market women no association no omo president to ya say a drone am boy and answer down kokoko impurities then we remove a year. What is our report?
No, I first of all, I must say, no country and no city has prepared in advance for coronavirus.
Okay.
Because enye adie yare na obi adwen. It is very new, and all of us are now reacting to it.
Okay.
In the course of doing so, you are supposed to also be mindful of time. Time now would be responding. If you don't respond at that particular time, it can also spread.
Okay. In
the afternoon, now this Monday, be Kasakra now say, if for nothing at all, for one full day, now you're breaking in this communication, now you're in church, now you could have also solved a problem.
Okay.
You know,
exactly,
could have also solved a problem, and I'm sure you will have time to explain better.
Yeah.
But the point is that, as I indicated to you, we worked with the military, and in the course of mobilizing resources and logistics, within 3 days, to be able to spray 137 markets within the greater Accra region, it must be said to be very ambitious, but I must say that it's very commendable.
Yeah.
I have never experienced anything like this before, and that's why I said, sir, working with the military, I have come to learn a lot in some understanding on how in the crisis period, how to make sure that you think through issues and prosecute the matter. It is not that you are mobilizing human beings. They are professionals. Some of them are free Eastern region.
Okay.
Some of them are free even Ashanti region.
Central
Force. So within 3 days, you are even mobilizing professionals. If it is just job for the boys, you have a lot of young people in Accra that you can get them to go and spray about some of these things. But you need people who are professional on how to handle the spray gun to be able to control some of these things. In mobilizing all these people within 3 days and to make sure that you even get the chlorine and get the right solution, because mixing it is also very important. Even if you get people at one crown, for them to even do and spray, how do they mix it? Because if they don't mix it properly, one will say yes spray, but it will amount to nothing. You need to make sure, say, how much water do you need, and the quantity also of the chlorine do you need to mix it to get the 6.5 pH to be able to say at the end of a that in the course of that time, at least some few delays. Even in a place like London Market, a very small market, that within an hour we were able to finish it. But the people didn't get there on time. But we were able to mobilize people, and by 12 o'clock we were there within an hour, 1.5 hours. And that is what I can tell you. Number two, on the issue about the market, I was in the market. I went to almost all the big markets, and in fact, the chief of defense staff, the whole Ghana Armed Forces, chief of defense staff, also about market maybe, with the Navy for paying for, Air Force for paying for. In fact, the military high command, they were on the foot, and they were even directing affairs. How could you say, sir, we could be spraying something anyhow? And the military people, they were part of the, as I said, they were not just providing security, they were part of the planning process. They are also, giving a report. And in most countries, say we are in an emergency situation, you use the military. And that is what they did. And they were spraying everywhere, every corner in Accra. In fact, apart from the Omu, some of them even went outside because some the chlorine, until some of them even went outside some of the areas, and spray hot. Until if there are issues somewhere, they bring it
draw attention,
and specifically, then we can deal with it, because we cannot work that you say is 100%. But largely, I think it's an excellent performance that must be commended.
Me and Tiesa don't use drones or areas be, but maybe also drones now. It will say if you take Africa no a bo asie no kwa shops in be your hot man gates them. So also be na wafro no wako top. E ho ne bi anko ho so.
Well, you see, we use different equipments. the drones are supposed to fly over open market. Nti say baby are shops not the drones fly. Then you are spraying on the top of the roof and not spraying there. Until drones will say agbobloshi.
Yeah.
You know, one of the areas there is agbobloshi, which is a very open market. Until if you are spraying, you know say you are spraying on the items na
Yeah.
And then the fogger machine and also a spray, you know, because a cop very, very fast. And then the spray gun. And Nuna, for instance, you call Okanshi. Okanshi, you know, largely is stores. Inti fogger machine, you call around all the roads. Inti a spray on all the shops. But Okanshi market, and you only the shops now. You were tokrum bebre.
Yeah.
Inti omu. Then we got the boys normal use the spray gun. Then they went into the tokrum. Now almost spray. So there were different strategies which were used in different areas. The ultimate aim say at the end of the day we should make sure say all the buildings there, any west no you sure say the wood and everything there were we are spraying everything and at the end of the day there were even some chemicals left over that if we had some areas not a better vehicle but the instructions were to spray the 137 markets, and I must say we did an excellent job by the close of the day.
One place they say at center market was clean. Usu market was clean. But at center and chain almost a bit job. 1 year dear maybe a individual since see I made a buy but you one water.
Well, attention, because of the Marine Drive project, now squatters be also on.
Yeah.
Just last week, you know, a lot of the squatters know a year until we are still continuing to work also over there. Because maybe look in our city is largely informal.
Okay.
And in a very informal environment, these are some of the things now. And that's why the government of the day is striving to formalize our economy and the way we do our things so that it may be. Look, we share a place like Italy. Say, see, lockdown. Ubia beko fie. Na unko fie kula ya shelter na ubeko.
Yeah.
Say, see, lockdown nkra. You can find a lot of people that you don't have anywhere to go in the city. That is the kind of situation where we find ourselves in. Even in the market, most of the markets, there is no problem. But you drew agbogloshi. Nipa no omu dry because it's a open market. You know, nipa no omu dry market. Omu dosu. But the military have to be disciplined and make sure so everybody like. In fact, by the mere fact say uhuso jadu kra no bakla no be mukla it's a discipline abafi. And that's why it helped us a lot. So some of these areas, but I can assure you, sir, we are working and continue to working. Look, I won't shy away from it. Uba a place like Agbushi. As much as ye efinu everywhere, they got an you know, as at this morning, there were problem kakra now machines na got an machines will break it down. Until one machine now but got an but we are working in this evening, and by tomorrow morning we should continue to working. As for working and clearing filth in the city is an everyday affair, and we'll continue to do so.
I have another 2 more questions. Mama ko around this morning. Open you say nipa makrum no enno ebeboa madaba from kwan be so.
Wọ́n say yeti doctor for no ne public health impanyimfo na. Omo kire say yarewa no I say chain.
Okay.
Wọ́n say chain lock. Uhwe WhatsApp kra na say ibi aba I say matches aya so esi ho na ehia na ba ku yi ne hu fi mu a afi ntimi nhye ntoa so. Enti who delay with say virus ne ade te say yeti say na ade ye human to human transmission no. The ye here pa na say betime break chain no. Enti one day you kra na etimi close market ne ade no. Chain no enti say the way anet. But what you say?
Yes sir.
Enti yetimi break sa chain no. You take into na uhwe countries ne yes ye lockdown. Lockdown no is just to reduce potential senko for be ehia. Wow. It said be na e make sure say senko for hia kra na umu no so. Say the president aka say me enhia me nhihia sorry there ne mosque no eye chain no na wo try so be break and as wo try so be reduce enkofo betimi potentially exposed no well enti market spraying no say enne kra ya ejom bebre enkofo obi a majom in fact e say boy maame mo ni dwadifo no abaso enkofo a makrom no kra no enne kra na bia nka yetimi cut normal by some 30 to 40% because anka man say ne enkofo ba krom no obi wo ezu ba krom o yare wani bia say nko
so scam
or bia obowa or fatrotro yesay enso sa no man nyina won susanso e economy ne so ti na mpanyifo ye decisions no based on situation no ne facts na what ground but very important see bear in mind e bi mo frɛ yenye lockdown yenye say a situation no the facts na what ground no and na a in the way decisions abai no take care yen nyina so this no
na 25 you know I'm the UK Germany near there if ababe 2 or something Ghana e betimi aba from kakra
oh me gidi say if di emra no any instructions na aba no say airport ni ade obi ba yes mu observe mo e just say chances of yare ni bifu efi abonten ye bemu no ye reduce ye no won say opese o cut out potential na de yare ne ban ye reduce spraying ye reduce potential ye say ye nhoro ye nsa ye sanitizer me ye nchiacha ye nsa ye ne ye say na say kra ye kra say technically am so obi akra suspend ye enti say nka obi na ye va okwa ye de ne nsa akoto obi ansa ya machia kosi ne potential to spread just say titi and normal betimi lead to it no na ye towards the same we China omutimi ma ne ba form say yes san start e course because in Chinese for na omutu kwan no eba we South Korea e course omututu anamon say ya menkofo nko school ye nko asori ne ade no ye hwe na South Korea de na ba form nti approve say measures ya ye president dey animu a or the to akwanso no ye hu se ye adwuma e wo ba bi bebre enti yenso yetimi di so me enkohia ye nko beach nka se we de ekwaje ani and ekodi tilapia ne banku bi ne ade ne chese sa de no e so tiba form I think say ene ye bompa ye ne ye tu anamon no ye betimi amana brass
right ebusuan emi penifo na najo ye ne omo edi enkomo no COVID-19 ene enho enkomo me ya emanfo chese mo ya de mo speak kum na trotrum in taxi force no mo say mbetima bibia fa ho amomo koso wa dim say udu connection ni ade a wa hu cars ni bia tim say yes we the market ni bukra ye
first of all nothing ye bombai say we should be able to control the spread, you know, because it's very, very important. And I've said, say, our system is largely informal, and that's why if it's going to spread like a wildfire, it's going to create a huge problem in my area. Every assembly, the local government ministry has given a directive to establish, say, public health emergency response team. Now, public health emergency response team, your chief executive is who are the chairperson. Doctor paying na who assembly no a member. Environmental health paying na who assembly no so a member. Any your NADBO paying no so a member. The security paying any police paying a member, and some other key. In the government have even decentralized the fight against, you know, COVID-19, you know, at the local level. Okay. And yet only at the top level na kasaya. Into some of the things and interventions na to say Veronica buckets. You know, our markets mu any sanitizer.
No, so far to say you know,
I'll come to that. You know, it's all part of the process at the local level to deal with it. Until the Ministry of Local Government continues to give us a directive, and we have to report every day on a WhatsApp platform for the minister. And on that platform, so young ideas, because obi bibiana provua usu ubetimi ayebi. Sometimes obi nya Veronica bucket to be or nyabi. Wakoka nyabi ewa inti watch inti. That's the communication platform which the Minister for Local Government also monitors all the activities now at the local level. So in specific response to who
question trotro
for as now. In fact, the Ministry of Transport almost almost protocol so aba and na account at the local level na ya the year ejuma so ba. And some of the things they say anymore say almost sanitize and topic.
Okay.
They should also continue to disinfect almost trotro because this is very critical.
Yeah.
In fact, yes, shall see one of the media houses Ekoye interview New Plan Station and now almost almost I say but abiding tona informal. You see, we are not in normal times.
Okay.
And it's very important that Ghanaians should know the decisions that we are taking is to save all of us. Because yes, and you are waiting for somebody. You are exposing yourself. Your reckless behavior is also exposing other people, and then by so doing, you bet me aspready and malby. Into some of these commentary must be discouraged. How many locations and na buying bet me ama obia sanitizer, Veronica bucket. I mean, how many locations? But that is not the way to go. Even in the United States of America, even in Europe, they don't even have the wherewithal to be able to do some of this. And even if they have the money, they don't even have the equipment.
Yeah.
As I speak to you, the city of New York, the mayor of New York says that in the next 2 weeks, if the central government does not come to his aid, they will run out of PPE, in fact, ordinary PPE, and not, that's the. If they say they are going to even run out of it, even in New York, that tells you how bad, New York, how bad is it? Maybe I'm not scanning everyone. That's the New York, no. That's the situation we find ourselves. So we continue to do so. And we are using our public address system, at least for within AMA, we have about 6 air call rounds any edition. Because one of the things the Perceiving Council is about Nipanuno Muntiasia, into the continuous education, so and also now some of the things now Yema in all the markets, especially in the greater Accra markets now, is to make sure say every market or more Veronica market or more sanitizer any tissue paper so na use but in so doing for the past now on Friday the Minister for Local Government Oba AMB and all share the leaders na market
leaders
and your group 20 and social distancing come because in person will be in fact Uba AMB says yeah Uber from Kra na the thermometer no gun no show to make sure say the temperature no is within range and in your into your mom but you won't say so a problem but we are among problem into all the assemblies also has been directed say to make sure say you provide it in so that the Veronica bucket no me and your white elephant you see into for this week, that is a directive that has been given to all the assemblies to look for resources to make sure say you provide enough water in all the markets to make sure say so government is doing its part. Local authorities are also doing our part, and we expect the citizens also to do their part. Collectively, I am very sure say you bet me can be the spread of this particular virus.
So moving forward, the principal street of Accra, markets
well, that's the point. You see, there were interministerial committee on COVID-19.
Yes.
And Omunya the whole Ghana report. And they review the report almost every day.
Okay.
So Omudi directives ba. Sisiano adienu kosi inti ye no say.
Okay.
Inti we await for directive from the center for us to do so. But on our own, people are also doing their own thing, and some of these things are. Exactly. In fact, people individually are also doing some things, and then Matisse secondary school be almost out to use the Veronica bucket, you know, now with some
incident.
Everybody is trying to do something. I think we should encourage. In times of crisis, there are a lot of good things that comes out from it, and that we need to seize that good things about. One good thing that we have come out from the coronavirus is all of us have to maintain a very high hygienic condition in our place. You know, the year baby.
Yeah, we do. We this month upon cry na. What's monitoring aspects?
Okay, so the military will go to tomorrow.
Okay.
But we'll then go back to, because every assembly will task force. But in our public health emergency response team, the police is part of it. For instance, in Accra, the regional police just to enforce some of these things so far in terms of mass grouping in Accra, largely comply with that one. Apart from what happened yesterday at the beaches, we have also responded swiftly to it through the Ghana Tourism Authority. And some of these things we are going to be. But finally, China ear-com market.
Okay.
Now ear-com market, we cannot go back into the market and sit down and also shop like the way we used to do. We should be mindful of the fact we can also go there and see abai abeku yare nu enti is free for all. That is not the case. Ufie uba ufie na ufie uba no a menim de na udi free enti let us be mindful of the fact say we are starting afresh, and by so doing we make sure say don't shake hands. Social distancing.
May I be spirit may bar.
Social distancing, and now we make sure say you will wash your hands and now use the hand sanitizer. Continues to do that, and let's make sure say
well, this morning yet Benaso conti what's we try to food to obey kitu ebi na fe yankwa
dem be try to okra ne say directives na ba no say na may your can say ye hohoro yensa wano running water enye nso etafa akon but running water ye hohoro yensa no ye kire hohoro nsa yem eni mfimfin ha ne ade enye normal wo nsa hyenso we yinsa eni sanitizer na ye so sikemu ne ade na wo the sanitizer no bi ti mesre de ye adwuma ye nyina se be prevent ye be si yare na no ye mpese beba na yakasa afi ne ye kokono nti ye nyi sa instructions so na mwaye na yare na ameto atese wa
ere ma say me obi say casino for so ho no da roma for ni fam say e wo odiem cause ho so no say de no ma si koso ho no nti enim ebi mo operate menya message bi say casinos no bi mo eye adwuma enti ho no mo hwehwe ma ye say ato beach mu ne club ni ade a also ye bia man for chile and one dey koso dada
bia na omo ye betting sports betting
so sports betting casino ni e kese pa no e na omo say ye no ma bebre apart from sports betting no
omo casino they say gambling say nipa bebre enko e say club bi
so
it's a very good information
and a good for Shema Martin say obo abaso but next time we involve good for e wo dem ye nim
oh medinu kasai but after na ye share minister no but medinu kasai on Saturday and I catch him so ninya but mati
right every for better must say nti ye besa ba mo chine kon na bibini a ya sa enemo akasa ya inshallah. Right, abusu ahaya na den komo nyina e di sinanadwe e de ama COVID-19 ene ehun dwumadia na ekoso no ene abebo no tofa e wa ha e de ama wura ji so wa me ya motin kaka so no panyin pese na pia so motin kwabna enhwibu isi akon ena me di dwumadia de bre me ne akosi asapon ya me ya aduma e be se hia